All right, here we go. 426, another episode. We back. Hotz is still repping the Rangers. I hope you have a lot of respect for you, bro. I'll be clear. They're dead in the waters, as we all know. They're not. Time good to see your face, man. Talk to me, bro. How you feeling?
Good, bro. Good. I think obviously a lot going on right now. We have the NFL draft, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, UFC tonight. So it's a good night. Good night of sports. Yeah, I mean, there's nowhere else to start, but obviously the Shedeur Sanders situation. I had him as a second-round grade, but I thought he'd be taken, mid to late first round, somewhere in there. I thought the Steelers were a viable option. They talked about a lot about how they liked him, but clearly he went into total free fall, ended up going fifth round to the Browns. So, I mean, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what happened. I know people are talking a lot about, like, NFL – blackballing, like a collective group. I just don't see a team being like, I think this guy will help us win and beat our opponents, but I want to work with our opponents to teach him a lesson or whatever. It doesn't seem plausible to me. But that being said, like I just said, I didn't see him as a fifth round player. Like I said,
Right.
Second, maybe third, would have made sense to me. I wouldn't have been surprised. Fifth was kind of a shock. I can't lie.
For sure. And I also think the team was a shock. They had just drafted Dylan Gabriel in the third round. You still have all that money committed to Deshaun Watson. And you also have Joe Flacco that you signed in the offseason.
And Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett in the offseason. So it's like, I read a story that I don't know how much truth there is. There's a lot of stuff flying around that could be a lot of crap, I'm assuming. But I read a story that Deion made a call to somebody that's in the Browns organization that he's close with. And basically said, hey, it seems like no one's really interested in my son. I would love for him to at least be with you, like one of those types of things, like just something to help him out, basically get drafted. I don't know the gentleman's name that he's close with in the Cleveland organization. It's slipping my brain right now, but that was something that I had heard. But in general, I think there's a couple things here. I saw that there was like a prank call against Shedeur that was fucked up. I don't like any of this other. So like the whole other side of this whole thing is like the bullying aspect of like Shedeur because of his character. I don't fuck with that, despite maybe him being not like a quarterback. Like obviously you don't want your quarterback to have a cornerback's personality, Deion's personality. You need to have more stoicism. You're leading men, so you need to be. You need to be out in front. You need to have some kind of professionalism to you as a quarterback too. It's just, I think a lot of that stuff is some of the stuff that people seem to have questions about. And from those private meetings, that seems to be some of the rumors that have been circulating about his character. And we've even seen on some of these interviews and his reaction to not getting the first round. He did a rap concert at his house, and it's just like, and puts it on social media. It's just it feels like I have time to talk about the bullying aspect of him, but his actions are kind of inviting some of this crap upon himself, it would seem.
Well, I think that Shedeur honestly took it pretty well these last couple days. I think that he's kept a smile on his face, still celebrated when he did eventually got drafted, didn't put on a sourpuss. Obviously this must have been hurtful and hard for him to, struggle through. And at the end of the day, he did play a couple seasons at Jackson State against inferior competition. And then when he was at Colorado, they were 1-7 against ranked teams. They got smoked by the good teams a lot of times. And a lot of that was their offensive line wasn't great and things like that. But like Shedeur's collegiate career wasn't one of like a no doubt surefire first round pick or even, second round pick, to be fair. But I just think that he's been so hyped. He's been so highlighted. He's been the face of the draft in a lot of ways to now go this deep. Like I know, and I'm sure your like top 9 mock had a lot to do with like what you've heard versus what you thought, so. But like, still, you weren't the only one. A lot of people have.
I didn't feel like I was saying something. I feel like it was chalk in some fashion. Yeah. Like, I definitely knew the Giants were off Shedeur from what I had read because I follow the Giants beat reporters, and I had heard so many rumblings about the meeting going sour and like it not going well with Brian Dable, who's a specific character, from watching Hard Knocks. So
yeah, I could tell Dable wasn't interested. Like I said, I think that Kellen Moore wasn't interested. Shedeur at the end of the day, he does lack some of the physical physical characteristics too. He doesn't have a cannon arm, to make all the NFL throws. He doesn't have, prototypical height. He's about 6'1" and a half, I think. Doesn't have prototypical, speed at like in today's game where basically everyone is a dual threat quarterback. Like Shedeur isn't really running a lot. I know he had some rushing touchdowns and this and that, but he's not like he's not a Lamar. He's not a Josh Allen. He's not, these guys who move with their feet a ton. And lastly, like I said, in the big games, he kind of folded. And I get it. You could say oh, well.
Yeah, his team is injured. Line is all horrible and all that other stuff.
Yeah, but it's also he had amazing wide receivers, and
Horn and Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Horn, Hunter, Xavier Weaver, the other kid who transferred from FAU to them this year. Oh, something with a W. I'm trying to remember right now. But
I know who you're talking about. He was actually at the pro day with Shedeur. When Shedeur threw, he was there. He was one of the 3 guys.
Yeah, it's like Wisely or something weird like that.
He'll be a pick next year, I think, right? Like he'll be in the draft next year, maybe.
I don't know. He might be in the draft this year, undrafted or something like that. Hang on, I'm just gonna look it up right now. But yeah, I mean,
can I ask you a question while you're looking that up, though, John?
Yeah, of course.
Do you think that Shedeur, if he didn't have his dad being part of this circuit when he was going around, from Jackson State to Colorado, and his dad wasn't part of this process, were a lot of other teams? Are you aware of a lot of other teams having interest in him being part of their program in college? That's my question. If without his dad, would he have been a player in college at starting quarterback in college? Would you say? No.
So the guy's name is LeJontay Wester, and he got drafted by the Ravens.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he's got NFL receivers all around. But yeah, I mean, it is. I think obviously the Coach Prime has had a massive impact on college football landscape in general, beyond just Shedeur. Obviously, we see Travis Hunter win the Heisman, get drafted 2nd overall. Colorado, they were 1-11 before he got there. The first year, they weren't great, maybe like 4-7. The year after that, obviously this year they performed a little better. But still, him being in college football elevated the sport, elevated the University of Colorado tremendously. Documentaries, this and that. It is kind of that blessing and a curse thing where maybe Shedeur doesn't get drafted at all if he just doesn't. If his name is Dan Smith and he went to BYU, and who knows? Or maybe it was a detriment having his dad be his coach and have that stigma. Growing up with a silver spoon in his mouth, never really had a lot of adversity, if you will. So it is kind of a dangerous game to kind of assume and make these statements, and it's very hard to separate the player from the hype or the player from the media perception.
Especially when it's big.
What'd you say?
Especially when the cat's out the bag and the hype is this big. This guy. Yeah. We're not talking small change here like a Baker Mayfield. He's making his own reputation kind of for himself. There's a preceding reputation of Deion and this whole entire umbrella that is all falling on Shedeur at the same time as Shedeur's character being whatever it is. And it's just very loaded. The whole thing feels very loaded.
It's crazy because it's like the comps on him, in my mind at least, are so wildly, on different ends of the spectrum where it's like I could see you comping him to Johnny Manziel as a college quarterback. Not obviously as much of a playmaker,
but yeah.
But just like as a guy who could move around in the pocket and escape a sack and make a big throw, and also, could be erratic and overly hyped and emotional and maybe feel like,
for sure,
when things don't go his way, kind of blame, point fingers, and then also I could see you giving her a comp to like a Russell Wilson, a guy who doesn't have the biggest arm, who's a little bit smaller, but is accurate in the short to intermediate throws. Yeah. Where and I'll give Shedeur that. Those short to intermediate throws, he's very accurate. He makes good reads for the most part, but a lot of it is a lot of bubble screen. And then the last comp I'll give is like a Geno Smith at West Virginia when he had those wide receiver weapons, and then also Noel Devine and Steve Slayton in the backfield, and being able to rely on the running game, and also those quick checks to those quick throws. Geno Smith coming out of college was like had like the record for completion percentage, but there was very little down the field throws. I would say Shedeur probably went down the field a little bit more, but still, I feel like when I do remember him completing passes down the field, it's somebody was open, like he eluded a sack and the coverage broke down and they're wide open down the field versus, sticking
a bubble screen and like, boom. He just breaks.
And also versus like finding someone, making a back shoulder throw 30 yards down the field, one-on-one coverage that's tight. Like I didn't see a lot of that. So I think that I think a lot of it is his floor is low. His ceiling is not super duper high, in my opinion. Like he could be good. I don't think he's going to be great, to be honest. I don't think he has the
floor
arm
is like an EJ Manuel. I think like an EJ Manuel. Seriously, like his floor is bad. His floor is a bust. There's no question about
his floor, like I just compared him to Johnny Manziel. Like, he can be nothing in the NFL. That's
absolutely
there's a chance that happens.
No question.
And I think his ceiling, like I said, is good. I don't see Shedeur having a Hall of Fame career. I don't see Shedeur being a perennial top 5 quarterback. Like that's just not where I have him, there's nothing wrong with that either. Like if you're in that Russell Wilson, I guess he might have had some close to top 5 years, but if you're in that, let's say Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott kind of level where, you're maybe close to top 5, but not quite, like
those guys those are like borderline elite players though.
I'm saying, but like those guys still never, I feel like, are in the conversation with like the top guys. Like, I think
that's more to accolades. Like
I said, I'm saying his ceiling is like a guy who's like just outside the top 5.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Agreed.
Like that's his ceiling. Like not where I expect him to be, but that's like I don't see him ever being a Josh Allen, a Lamar Jackson, an MVP caliber player. He doesn't have the athleticism of a Lamar. He doesn't have the arm strength of a Josh Allen and the height and the size and he doesn't have the.
What's going on up here is one of my questions.
I think that might be his best attribute.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. He's in the playbook.
I think his checks. His checks and just growing up with NFL pedigree and being, around an NFL dad and having NFL caliber coaching around him. I'm sure like one-on-one training his whole life. Sorry about that. That's fucking my dryer going off.
You're good. I thought that was something going on with me smoking in the house or some shit. I was like,
is my smoke alarm going on?
Yeah. You had me freaked out right now. It's like when you're playing like a video game and the sirens start so loud in your ears.
My dryer's done doing some laundry. Like I said, I actually think Shedeur might be, an intellectual, very good quarterback in terms of making checks, making reads, making, smart decisions with the ball. But I think the athleticism and the arm talent is what's lacking. And like Chad Pennington was probably one of the smartest quarterbacks who ever played football, but he didn't have an arm to throw the ball down the field, and he didn't have athleticism. So his ceiling was a good but not great quarterback. And I feel like
I can say this: he had Jewish feet. He had slow ass. All right, he had slow ass feet, and he had a noodle ass arm. But his anticipation playing with guys like Lavernius Coles and Santana Moss or whoever else isn't on those out routes. The ball's out before the guy's even cutting. That's why you would have to see egregious interceptions from him sometimes, because the ball's out and it's all about anticipation with guys like him. So listen, like you said, if Shedeur's in the playbook, that'd be awesome to see. Then he'll get his shot and he will show and prove at some point or another. And it's not about being able to necessarily hit every throw in football to be the best. Tom Brady was a 100 cuts to the body type of guy, a 6th round pick. If you want to be in the playbook and you have that competitive drive to be better and get better and get better and get better, as Brady did in his career, and he puts the work in, the opportunity is going to come. At some point or another, Shedeur Sanders is going to get into the game in an NFL game. Some way, somehow, it's going to happen. And when it happens, are you going to be ready? Are you in the playbook? Are you going to make plays to Jerry Jeudy or whoever else in the Browns, let's say? And you're like, wow, this guy's actually showing some signs. We're all fucking dumb. Like, his character was what it was when he was 21, but we didn't even give him a shot. Look what he's developing into now. He's coming into his own man and getting rid of some of the noise and some of the distraction, and is actually in the playbook. And Stefanski compliments him, and it's like a real thing. Like, he has all that in front of him too, I think, at this point. So if he leans into this all being a distraction, then it will be a distraction. If he leans into being a fucking football player and wants to go out there and fucking dominate, and when he gets his opportunity, then he'll get that chance, because Kenny Pickett's not taking shit from him. Joe Flacco's not taking shit from him. And Deshaun Watson on one leg is not taking shit from him. So you have all the opportunities still in the world there, I feel like.
And just to like put a bow on this point is like Chad Pennington, like I said, had all these limitations and like was just a in between the ears kind of guy, and he still went 18th overall, first round pick. So there still is like, even with all these things that I'm picking at with Shedeur, his arm strength, his athleticism, he still was underdrafted. At the end of the day, like I said, if he went third round, I probably would have been like, okay, that's like fair enough. Like, second round, I think would have been good, like solid, probably right around where he should be drafted. It is still, with everything being said, it seems like just a categorically underdrafted player, in my opinion. And, I'm not the biggest Shedeur guy. I'm not going to stand on a table and be like, Shedeur is going to, prove all these people wrong. He's going to be generational. He's going to show everyone what a mistake they made. That's not where I'm at with it, but I do think 5th round seems low, and that's where I'll stand on it with that.
For sure. And with that, I'm going to bring in our other boy right here.
Hey,
What's up, my boy? So we haven't talked about Cowboys. We just finished talking about Shedeur. If you want, we'll let you put a bow on it. If you have any last thoughts that you want to add about the whole thing and what you feel about just the whole picture, about his whole entire draft process or whatever.
Listen, unfortunately, we're just like living in the times that we live in, right? I mean, these guys are getting these checks like they're professionals, and he comes from the family that he is. Do I think he's a bad kid? Hell no. Do I think he doesn't deserve a shot in the league? Hell no. He said that the qualities to be a professional quarterback? Hell yes. Like, that's not like, Travis got all those, his stats up from Shedeur, right? So I think he should have never fell that low. I think, do I think he should have went first round? I don't know. Maybe not. Was I shocked that he didn't, go the first or the second round or the third? Yes. But it is what it is now. I think to looking into the horizon, that man has the biggest chip on his shoulder. I think the bigger story about Shedeur being drafted is like, what the hell are the Browns doing?
Facts.
What was there? Like, that's the bigger story. I think, like, what the hell are we doing here? Like, the poor kid from Oregon, getting drafted a couple rounds prior.
I forgot to name
Kenny Pickett, off his attitude and off, I don't know him, obviously, and I'm not in no room with him. But I know he wants to be a starter. He's a go-getter. And I know he's probably like, what the hell? I came here because they had nobody. And here we are with 5 potential starting quarterbacks.
Crazy.
I think that's the bigger story,
No, it's not even embellished, because I was just saying that he's going to have all the opportunity in front of him, and I totally forgot about Dylan Gabriel. I shit you not.
Yeah.
I saw a comment that someone's like, they have 5 quarterbacks and they still need a 6th. They still might not have anyone. But I was just saying, Eddie, my take on Shedeur is he doesn't have prototypical arm strength. He's a little bit, not as athletic as a lot of guys. He's just kind of smart in between the ears. And I made a comp to like a guy like a Chad Pennington. Like, he maybe can't make all the throws, but he's extremely intelligent. He makes good checks. He makes good decisions on his options. And with all that, Chad Pennington wasn't as athletic and probably still didn't have quite as good of an arm, and still went 18th overall in the first round.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So I had him as like a second round grade. If he went to the third, I would have been shocked. But after 5th round pick, even as a guy, I'm not going to beat the table as a Shedeur guy. That's woefully underdrafted. And there's no way he's ever got to this.
I have a father that lives on social media and is fucking one of the most popular media guys, I would say, of any school. Like, he talks about Colorado's whole media and what they built over there in terms of all the documentaries and all the documentaries and all that shit they were doing, the filming and stuff like that. They might have the best social media team in all of college football, you could argue, seriously, or one of the best. So I feel like everyone's gotten a clue into what Colorado's been and what they have. So it's a crazy thing in terms of where he went in the 5th round. I think everyone agrees here that he was more like that 3rd round pick, and a lot of that had to do with just the piling on maybe, or just really how they feel about him. But like we all think, he's going to get his shot, and we'll see what he's made of at that point.
Yeah, we could dig into like all the assumptions of why and whatever. But I'll tell you right now, that boy is going to play in the NFL. He's not going to be a Johnny Manziel. I think I can't assume or what's going to happen this year, but I know that guy is going to start.
He's going to get his shot.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
He's going to get his shot, I should say. He's going to get a shot where he's going to be in a game, and we're going to be like, here we go. We're all.
And you're going to know from watching him for like 10 plays.
Like, that's going to happen.
His
that's
look.
all he needs.
Yeah,
you know
that's it. You're going to feel it.
I said before you came on, his floor is pretty low. Maybe like, a guy who doesn't get gets 1 or 2 seasons as a starter, can't quite hack it. But his ceiling, I think, is like someone who isn't quite in the top 5, but is like right outside of that. Like, a Dak, a Russell Wilson, a guy who's like not quite elite because, like I said, the lack of arm talent, the lack of overall athleticism. He doesn't have the speed of a Lamar. He doesn't have the arm of a Josh Allen. But his ceiling is right in that level of like top 10 to top 6 somewhere.
That's
in there.
a winning quarterback, in my opinion. That's Eli
Manning.
And
if you can get that in the 5th round.
You talk about athleticism.
Yeah.
And
a lot of guys in the league.
I think he's more athletic than majority of the quarterbacks. Yes, he's not Lamar Jackson. Yes, he's not Josh Allen and those guys. He's not.
By definition, he's the majority. Because there's really only 5 to 7 guys that are really the elite guys in the league that you really believe week in, week out are going to carry their teams to victory in a sense.
I mean, you look at the league's quarterbacks now, it's not like 10 to 15 years ago. These guys are all pretty much athletes. Like Justin Herbert wouldn't be the first thing that screams athlete, but I bet you he runs a faster 40 than Shador. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
like even like Jordan Love, like you know what I'm saying? Those are guys that are gunslingers.
Yep.
That weren't, developed yet and whatnot, and look where he is now, man. Running a freaking franchise.
It's good. It's a good shout too. But
Jordan loves to start.
Conversation with you guys for a second here. We got both of you on the call here. I want to talk about it. The Cowboys. I want to know what you guys are feeling about. Obviously, it felt like a little early on, people were clamoring for skill position players. I know you guys were talking about that tight end Loveland versus, I think the other guy's name was Warren. I don't know everything about all that, but in terms of needs and how they dealt with the needs eventually throughout the whole draft, now that you've seen the whole picture versus like reacting round by round, how do you feel like they addressed some of the things, and maybe what do you feel like they maybe left on the table that they could have handled?
I'll let you go first.
Yeah, you go first because you're really
he can bounce off you.
College. No, he really knows his stuff when it comes to the college stuff. And I can just tell you where I'm at now. Like, I'm a diehard Cowboy fan, and I'm in it. I'm diehard, so I'm dying hard right now. I'm in it. Honestly, I'm 34, same my age and whatnot. It's crazy, but this is like one of the worst I've felt in the most recent years. As like a grown man, like just knowing football.
What are you feeling? What are you actually feeling? What is that feeling?
So the feeling is just like, I don't even know what to feel, because this is where I'm at. I can't feel a certain way that I want to, because at the end of the day, Jerry Jones is still the owner. So the way we move on the offseason is always going to be the same. Every offseason, every Cowboy fan thinks, we could get this person, that person, we got this much money. Nothing ever happens. The Cowboys always run off the draft. And honestly, for respect to them, they draft well. But to me, drafting doesn't fix it. Like a 1 year drafting doesn't fix a team. And right now we have a quarterback that's like win now, and you're paying him that much. So it's like, how can we proceed with moving forward and being a winning team? NFC East is no freaking joke right now. And the Eagles are no joke. They just won. You got the Commanders that are there. And then the Giants are coming. To me, they had one of the best drafts I've seen this year. I am a big fan of their draft. I'm a big fan of everyone they've drafted this year. And they addressed everything that they need. Cowboys, boom, 12th pick. Tyler Booker. Love him.
Dog.
At 12, I don't know if I love him. That's all.
Yeah.
But do we need him? Yes. Did Zach Martin just leave? Yes. Did we just pick up first-round pick last year on the Cowboys to be our tackle? Yes. Was he going through growing pains? Yes. So we need that line to be reassured. The Cowboys, since I've been a child, have been a men amongst boys when it comes to the guys in the trenches, and that's what keeps us relevant. It's those big guys up front that just run, that just set the tone, and we need that. So Booker is a guy I feel like he's going to set the damn tone. I think he's going to be a guy who's going to be great for us. Yes. So
and he
that being said,
helps the tackle, in my opinion.
Helps the tackle. Big
a guy like him is going to help your line. I also want to say one thing back to the tackle having an issue last year in his rookie year. I'll be clear, Andrew Thomas had a very tough time his rookie year, similarly, and he learned it, and he became an elite all-pro player his following season. So tackle can take time in the league to really understand also who the guys are that you're playing next to, how your quarterback is as a player. All that shit takes time. So I don't like to write off tackles after the first year. His name's Fashano, right? Fashano. I forget his name on your team, like the tackle that you guys are talking about that drafted last year. I just forget his name.
No, it was another Tyler.
No, the Cowboys.
Oh, Tyler Guyton.
Guyton from Oklahoma. Right.
Yeah.
Big guy, great. But at the end of the day, you can't fill the void of a Tyron Smith that had just left. He definitely needs some polishing, needed more polishing than I thought, to be honest. I had a little bit more higher expectations. But listen, Zach Martin leaving, now here we are. We have where I'm at the Cowboys, I won't even go deep into the draft yet because you said you want to see where we are, where I'm at as a fan. That was a good question. It's just like we have to address, to me, the line, the running game. And I guess, we needed to address the edge rushing, and we did. So, I don't know how I feel where we are right now, Hotz.
I'll chime in. I think that across the interior line, Tyler Booker, Tyler Smith, and Cooper Beebe, that's a beast. That could be a decade plus.
That could be a fucking
center guard combo.
Oh my God, that's a war.
That's 2 to 3 Pro Bowlers per year, probably for the next decade. I love all those guys. I do think Booker, he's going to be really good. He's, I love his comments after, talking about how he plays football to see the light leave the guy that he's blocking eyes as he plays the game. He likes to see them quit on the field. I love that kind of intensity, that kind of passion. And to pair that with Tyler Smith, who already is proven to be an absolutely elite guard and has the flexibility to kick out the tackle potentially, has the flexibility to swing over to right tackle. I think he's that athletic, that intelligent, that good of a player. He's like a 95 plus in Madden already.
He's a monster. He's a monster.
And Cooper Beebe is the fucking lunch pail guy. He's going to play center. He's going to make the calls. He's the Travis Frederick. Maybe not the strongest, maybe not the biggest, maybe not the fastest, but the guy who's there to fucking control the line, control the calls, be the quarterback's best friend in terms of the protection. So I do love that kind of idea behind the pick. However, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed that maybe we could have traded back. Maybe we could have done these things that these other GMs are doing and maybe gotten back that 4th-round pick we lost for Mingo. Maybe we could have traded back to 20. Maybe somebody really wanted Tyler Warren. Maybe someone really wanted Tyler Warren and would have jumped in front of the Colts to take him. Maybe we could have made these moves. And at the end of the day, I know that, like I said, I don't have a problem with the methodology, but I do think we need another legit playmaker on offense outside of CeeDee Lamb. And we could have paired CeeDee Lamb with Matthew Golden and had a Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison situation going on. Or we could have got Tyler Warren.
It's Ferg,
Tyler Warren, an elite tight end. I don't think Ferguson is an elite playmaker. I think he's a good tight end.
I like him.
I like him. I just don't think he's Tyler Warren good. I think Tyler Warren is going to have a tremendous season, reminiscent of Bowers last year for the Raiders. I do think he's that good.
Pardon me. Where did Tyler Warren go?
14th to the Colts. So 2 picks later.
You're telling me you would have rather take a tight end over Booker?
I personally would have rather had Tyler Warren, but I'm not saying it's a bad pick. But I personally would have preferred Tyler Warren. I think if you watch Penn State last year, they made it all the way to the college football playoff, and he was the guy offensively. And they'd move him around. He'd play quarterback. He's doing those kinds of things where he's lining up under center and taking, tush pushes. And he's also doing trick plays and making the game-winning touchdown catch over 3 guys against USC. He's special. Like I said, we saw Brock Bowers last year for Oakland break all the rookie records. I think he's that level. And I think Loveland is another guy. Obviously, had 2 picks earlier. When Loveland got taken, I was kind of like shit because I thought Warren would go first and Loveland would fall to us. Maybe if Warren went first, the Cowboys would have taken Loveland because he can block better, and maybe they want to make sure that running game is the priority, which I agree with. You talked about since you're little kids, the offensive line dominating. That always went hand in hand with the running game being the first priority, being dominant. So I understand it. I don't hate it in a sense. I just do think we need to get craftier if we're going to compete with the Howie Rosemans of the world, who we know would have probably made a trade to make that a better situation.
Yeah, I also think that Warren's a cornerstone piece. So, like, when you think about Booker, you could probably, if you had good coaching and you have a good offensive line coach, and you could probably find a guard in the second or third round and teach whatever needs to be done there to get into that cohesion of that front three that Hotz was referring to. And you still have Warren, who's a cornerstone piece, like a Jason Witten, who's going to be the blanket that Dak desperately needs, it would seem, and what's probably missing, because that he uses CD is a blanket WR1. That's what makes him basically the best receiver in football, or one of the best, is because he's not actually like Jamar Chase in terms of like the way they even use CD. CD is the blanket, like go-to tight end receiver for Dak. Like he's always open. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know how to explain what I'm trying to say, but like usually a tight end like Jason Witten is like your dump off, your reliable, hands all the time, guaranteed 5 yards. CD has been that for him, like for a.
I get what you're saying. He has to be the big play guy and the safety net.
Yes,
yes. That's
and
not
like,
fair.
You got a guy like Ward who's just living underneath with Ferg. Then CD can really run those concepts that we all know that he can run and destroy the game.
And I want to be clear, this isn't a slight to Ferguson, because we've seen two tight end systems work.
He would fit, right?
We've seen it, obviously, with the Patriots is the most prime example, Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez, but also even like Marcus Pollard and Dallas Clark with the Colts, like we've seen these things work.
It fits, bro. It just like, there'll be targets. It'll fit in the offensive moving forward. Yeah.
Especially if we want to commit to the running game, like 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, CD Lamb on the outside, and whoever on the other side, single back 2 tight ends. Why not?
I mean, it's exciting, but
it's not exciting.
He's a solid pick. He's a guarantee in a lot of ways. Knock on wood. Short of anything crazy happening, he's a certified. You plug and play. That guy's going to be effective for your team. So that's exciting in one sense. And you guys, let's move to a little bit later to the draft. One of my favorite picks in the draft was Baden Blue. I was hoping the Giants actually would take him. If we got Scadaboo, I knew they were going to take a running back.
Love Scadaboo,
but I love Scadaboo for you guys, honestly, as a hater of the Cowboys, but. He's very talented, and he catches the ball. That's the underrated quality of this. He's not just like a burner and like a north.
I mean, he's a sub 440 guy. 4.39, second fastest running back at the combine. Productive in college. Played on a college football playoff team. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with. At least we took a fucking running back. Last year, not taking a running back at all drove me insane.
Unacceptable is the only word.
You guys picked up a running back too.
We got Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders.
Javonte
Miles Sanders. And it
doesn't move
the needle
last year. And it's just like, I'm not gonna keep rambling about the Cowboys. I'm bittersweet about it. I'm a diehard again.
The defense is listen. You guys drafted Bland. You still have Diggs. I mean, the team is still. It's not shitty. Like the team
after I say my take, I'll ask you something, Hotz. Remind me. DB. Say DB if I forget.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. We can move to the draft. I want to talk about the Giants. You just said the Giants before. Talk to me about the Giants.
Real quick.
Yeah, let Eddie go, and then we'll talk about DBs, and we'll go to the Giants.
This is my thing where, like, I'm, like, bittersweet about everything. I think we had a good draft, yes. I do. I really do.
I agree, actually.
Why I'm bitter is that I just wish my boys were just back in the trenching days and, big tight end days and running the game and letting Dak just do him after all of that. Right now, it's just like it's only him, and like the attitude, the body language I saw last year was just like when I saw him, I just felt like he was almost like, why I got to do everything, and if I can't do everything, like don't say nothing to me. It's not me, and I think it's frustration regular that's understood, but our own ownership has to do the right thing with addressing the running game and offensive line, which they did. That's why I'm bittersweet. So it's like they did it. So let's see where it takes us from here, right? I'm a big fan of Blue. Let's go. TU all day. Let's see what happens next year, man.
Got a lot in play. Still got a lot.
You said you wanted to ask me a question about the defensive backs.
I'm not. How you feel about our DB that got picked? What was his name? The fourth round pick?
Revel. I think it's Sharon Revel. Or maybe I have that backwards or something like that.
I don't have any. I'm not much educated on him very much.
Yeah, but, I haven't. I did. I'll be honest. I haven't watched a ton of East Carolina games. I'd have to do a little tape research, but I'm assuming that with Jordan Lewis moving on from the Cowboys, you need to fill that nickel spot. I think that I trust them to an extent. I would have liked a running back there. We could have gotten maybe a Caleb Johnson, who I know is going to be a beast. I think
that's where I was at with it.
I think the kid from Virginia Tech who actually had the fastest 40 time at the combine was still available. I think Caleb Johnson would have been a home run hit there, to be honest. I think he's going to be really good. The guy people should look out for in fantasy right away as a third-round draft pick.
Ari Hampton, fantasy too, I would say. Probably another guy that's going to get some looks.
Yeah, he ended up going first. I was surprised that Omari Hampton went above Travion Henderson and went above Quinshon Judkins. I think that he wasn't quite there. But overall, I think they just wanted to replace that Jordan Lewis. And I do think Jordan Lewis plays hard. He plays tough. But if this kid's a little more athletic, a little bit better in coverage on those third down situations, it did seem like Jordan Lewis
looks like the real deal. He does.
Yeah. No, he looks athletic. Like, I think if he could go in there and be an improvement from Jordan Lewis, that would be massive. Because Jordan Lewis, I like Jordan Lewis, and I liked him at Michigan. I've been a fan, but he would frustrate me on those third down plays. It seems like he'd get picked on a lot by those quick, shifty wide receivers, the Hunter Renfros of the world. Those good route runners would pick on him a little bit.
I look forward to seeing these guys on the field at the same time. Diggs and Bland haven't done it yet. Those guys on the same time.
Bland and Diggs.
And it'll be a Lewis or now Revel. I want to see that. Let's see it.
Yeah. No, that's a good point because you got to think about it. Obviously, Diggs was out the whole year where Bland had the 5 pick sixes. Then Bland is hurt to start last year. Then Diggs gets hurt right when Bland comes back.
The whole thing is fucked up.
Them being on the field.
The broken neck.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I was saying before. I don't want to hate on this team. They had a nice draft, and I think they're just kind of sailing under the radar for the first time in a long time. I would kind of enjoy it instead of why are the Cowboys not amazing and always
agreed.
You know what I mean? It's almost like this is finally there's so many other fucking storylines beyond Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. They kind of just did their thing, did their draft, are staying low key. There's a lot of humble sauce being drank or whatever the fuck you want to call it by the whole org. I feel like humble pie. Thank you. Something I was killing. Just kill me. Thank you. But there's a lot of humble pie being eaten by the org, so I think that's a good thing. And you guys could maybe go into a wild card and Bland and Diggs actually get to see what that is and really see what this defense is and go from there. And Dak is healthy, hopefully, and all the way back. These are the types of things that I think then you'll get a real picture about what the future will be for the Cowboys. As everyone gets injured, it's so hard to see what even the fuck you got when everyone's going down. It's just stupid.
Do you think we make a move before the offseason?
That's so uncharacteristic of the Cowboys. They really didn't even move in free agency. It felt like they were stale in free agency kind of too.
I don't know why I'm praying to the Lord to get a George Pickens or something.
I don't see that. I feel like that ship has sailed for the season.
Yeah. I feel I don't know. It would surprise me, but we'll see. It would surprise me for sure. They don't usually make moves like that, but I think it has to be coming towards heads will roll time. But then again, they made the vanilla move of re-signing or hiring Brian Schottenheimer as the head coach. That just takes all the wind out of my sails that they want to make big moves. Obviously, that signified to me. I ranted on here about it that McCarthy probably didn't want to come back and coach because if they are going to sign Brian Schottenheimer, they would have just rehired Mike McCarthy, like we saw with Jason Garrett all those times.
Yes.
So. I don't know if you
wants to stay on stage with Pat McAfee and talk shop about everything and make fun of everyone. It was pretty funny watching him, actually.
Well, I know you want to talk about the Giants, so we can get into their picks. Obviously, maybe the best player in the draft falling to them at 3 is a gift. I know they have D-line already, but
you can't. I'm excited. I don't even want to think about it. Yeah, this whole thing could just melt down in front of their face, and the Giants really had a ton of bad luck in recent years in a lot of ways, just the way they paid players. A lot of their own poor decision making. I feel like self-inflicted shit. During the Gettleman era, like in terms of a lot of these signings, Galladay, we could go to so many, Waller, and then him retiring. I can go all day with this. So like,
we'll talk about Joe Shane last year.
Yeah, Joe Shane last year in Hard Knocks and how that looked. I mean, that was a fucking fail, obviously.
I will say, I feel like the Giants get a lot of hate for the Saquon thing, but it's not like Saquon was going to be a needle mover for the Giants. Like, it's hard to, like, they get a lot of blame, but it's like,
actually, he would have fucked us.
The reason why they get blamed is because they gave all the money to Jones, and they could have given, a quarter of that money to keep Barkley.
It's also the way it went down. When you watch that video in Hard Knocks, first of all, it's so against the Giants culture to even do Hard Knocks. So it shows you where the franchise is. If they're one of those bad teams that the league says, nah, you got to be on Hard Knocks because there's only a certain. That's how you know you're in purgatory in the NFL, is if Hard Knocks is up your ass to come out, like they want to go on your show. So they were like, oh, let's do it in the summer and try to get the fuck away from all the real.
The Giants' Hard Knocks was so bad that no team agreed to do the offseason Hard Knocks this year. There is no offseason Hard Knocks.
That clip was so bad. When Mara's saying if he goes
it's
to Philly,
one of the worst clips in Hard Knocks history. And now with social media, when Hard Knocks used to be on, there was no social media. Hard Knocks precedes social media. So there used to be a time where you just watch Hard Knocks, it'd be funny and hilarious, and then you go on with your week. Now that one clip in that office, Joe Shane sitting at the desk, Mara to the left right there, it'll live in infamy. That whole thing is fucked up.
And he still kept him. So
can I just let me get my shit off on that for a second. I have to talk about this. I'm serious when I say that I stuck by Joe Shane and I said that he got dealt the worst fucking hand by inheriting what Gettleman left him. I've said this a million times. They were like $100 million at least in the deficit when he took over, with horrible contracts all over the team, spread across the team. So yes, I blame Shane for signing Jones. That's the one bad move he made because that was his decision and that was stupid. But if they had signed Saquon, they would have won 2 or 3 more games, fucked themselves out of this pick, and the whole thing would have been messed up. And then they would have had a team that they don't even know how to think about and drafting a quarterback while they're paying Saquon, and then they're restarting the franchise again. It just, the whole thing made no sense to me in terms of signing Saquon, like John said. So moving forward here in terms of the draft, it's like the first time I've actually felt hope in probably 10 years. I'm dead serious. Like legit hope.
And when I say they shouldn't have signed Saquon, I mean this previous offseason. I don't mean when they paid Jones. When they paid Jones, they should have signed Saquon and not paid Daniel Jones. Franchise tag Jones if you really want to see what he has after that playoff run, instead of franchising Saquon and paying Daniel Jones.
And as you can trade up in the draft. It's possible. You might have to forge a future in a sense, like picks-wise, but not really. Like if you really want to go get your guy, you can go get your guy. And so if they really paid Saquon when Jones was a walk after 1 year, like John is saying, it's possible to go get your guy. So I don't like that dying on the hill like, oh, we wouldn't have been able to draft a quarterback, whatever the fuck, because we were at 9-8 or 8-9 or whatever the fuck. So,
and a real quick sidebar between us and the viewers, keep looking to my right. It's because it's like, my apartment's in like College Town Central, and it's like formal, like for all the sororities and shit. And there's just dimes going by in dresses, just like. I have fucking like ceiling to floor windows, and there's just dimes going by.
I'm go just out there after the podcast.
I'm just moving.
I'm just gonna sit out there with my dog and just be like, "Oh, dog's that cute. Yeah, what's up?"
There you go.
Yeah,
grab your dog and some dumbbells and just start working out.
Dogs and dumbbells. That's the title of my mixtape, my fucking biography.
I love that.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, the Giants, like you guys said, Abdul Carter's, that's insane. I don't even know who or what that is. It looked like from the tape that looks like a psychopath. And the way he talks, and I love all of it. I even love going after the 56 and what LT said back to him, that exchange. Like, there's no fucking way, little boy. Like,
not taking the 56.
Best defensive player of all time. That's not happening, dude. Like, no.
And I know the best defensive player ever of all time.
No, he's already the best football player. You're saying, yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And just another easy comparison is the Micah Parsons. Doesn't have the crazy Myles Garrett size, but super quick, super athletic, just relentless. Both were number 11 at Penn State. Like they're keeping that.
They seem to be boys. I saw that interview, that exchange between them. He went into Micah's podcast, and that was a sick exchange watching the two of them. And he was talking about Micah being his mentor and like really showing him the ropes and showing him the way about really how to do this shit at Penn State. So ghetto to see that they're both in the NFC East and they're going against each other twice a year. That's fucking sick.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Zach is the only person. Zach is the only person who still uses ghetto as like a cool adjective.
I always use it. Yeah, I always use
That's
it.
not cool.
That's true. That's true.
He's like, it's mad ghetto that Abdul Carter.
My point on the Giants, like,
I like the Jackson Dart trade up. You like that?
Really big fan of what they've done this year. And you know, people think I'm a diehard Cowboy fan. I'm a hater of the Giants. I really don't care about them. I mean, I'm obviously Giant fans at beef with because they want to talk about how we never won or whatever. And now it's crazy how old we're getting. It's like, dude, you're the Cowboys of 2000. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, like
we're like approaching this whole new way of looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys haven't won in like whatever 12, 10 years, whatever. And I made the playoffs.
14 years.
No. The Giants have been so irrelevant for, you know, besides I guess the 1 year they made
the Super Bowl. It's actual purgatory.
Are irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like,
Concept is
like
really
not looking forward
Cowboys
to
put a
Sunday.
product on the fucking field every week, every year, generally speaking. The
Right.
Giants have been in purgatory for fucking since 2011. It's not like there's like a.
They've been drafting in the top 7 for at least 8 of the last 10 years. It feels
Literally.
like.
But something on the bright side to look forward to. When they won at the time, one of the best Super Bowls I've ever seen. You know, that run that they did, they were 9-7. You know why they won though? The guys up front were no fucking joke. And now, you know, you put the Abdul Carter of the world, sexy, Kayvon, and what's my man Burns? Like that is a problem.
And the
that's
defensive tackle that's in the third round.
Nightmare, like right there, like
that's Umanura, Tuck, Kiwanuka, and Strahan.
Yo, Darius Alexander, bro, he's coming. I'm telling you, that's another guy.
Giants, but the NASCAR again, like that'd be crazy.
But the issue is that team also had Chris Nee and Kevin Boss and Kareem McKenzie.
Yeah,
the line is good.
And Sean O'Hara. The offensive line of the Giants still is lacking those.
It's good. Much better last year. They picked up a bunch of guys in last year's offseason, so much better, but still a work in progress. I would say they drafted a guard in like the 5th round, I believe, or the 4th round. I saw them. I put beef on the chat. I think it was like a 4th or 5th round pick. I'm not sure, but yeah, no, I think the Giants definitely handled what they had to handle. I really like the trade for Jackson Dart up to 23 without giving around a 1st-round pick for next year. It's only a 3rd-round pick next year. Speaking of a fleece, Atlanta and Rams giving up a 1st-round pick next year, which is with what they gave up this year, absolutely fucking nuts for a defensive end, in my opinion. But and he was a top 5 talent, whatever that Pierce, whatever his name is. But I thought the Giants did a good trade for Jackson Dart. They didn't overbuy. Like they did exactly what was required to get that pick and take Jackson Dart. And when seeing the Rams trade out, and the rumor is that obviously the Rams were in to try to come and back up Stafford, that makes you feel good that Les Snead and McVay were on Dart too. Seems like
that's where I had Dart going in my mock was to the Rams because that makes sense to follow Stafford.
That makes literally complete sense. Especially they didn't even know what Stafford was doing, and he was going to retire, maybe get traded this whole offseason. So it's exciting.
I like Dart. I like Dart a lot.
I don't know what to say, man.
On the Falcons,
we have Dart. I don't know what to say. I can't believe it, honestly.
On the Falcons getting fleeced, real quick, what I'll say is that they also caught someone who fell in Walker. You know, the edge from Georgia. His brother got drafted 1st overall a couple of years ago to the Jaguars. You know, or maybe they might not be brothers. Now that they might just both be named Walker and went to Georgia. But whatever. Let's just say they're brothers.
Bro is a monster too, though.
But Jalen Walker, for him to fall to the Falcons and then to get another edge rusher who fell because of, you know, issues off the field, so to speak, they might have just got, you know, 2 double-digit sack guys.
And they picked up Judon last year.
Yeah, and to mix with Judon, I don't know if Judon's still there. I don't know if it's contract details, to be honest. But either way, like to grab 2 edge rushers on a team that's defense looked like it was getting better. They have good safeties, so I think maybe they got fleeced a little bit, but they were like, damn, we can get both of these guys. It's kind of, you know, a big time move.
Let's do it. Yeah, we'll worry about it later.
I think in terms of the draft, like we could talk all night. I love the fucking draft, but I think one thing we should talk about before we move on to the playoffs or Hotz Corner or whatever is the Jaguars and the Browns. That first, you know, trade of the draft where the Browns give up, the Jaguars give up their 1st-round pick at 5, their 2nd-round pick, which was the 5th pick of the 2nd round or whatever it is, early 2nd round.
Yeah.
Their 1st-round pick next year and a 4th-round pick for obviously the number 2 pick, a 4th round pick, and a 6th round pick. Like, that is a fucking haul because the Jaguars could suck again, and the Browns could get another top 10 pick next year out of this. Yeah, and obviously Travis Hunter, the only way you could justify it is if you say, like, we got a 1st round corner and we got a 1st round. You're going to have to play him a lot. You're going to have to play him both ways to justify that trade.
They are. Yo, they are. I guarantee you. Yo, Zach.
No, I'm not even entertaining this.
I think so. I don't think he's going to start both ways, but I think he's going to have.
Been watching since I was 4 years old, 3 years old. There is no way. I know you all have. There is no way. I would put money on it. There is no way he plays 10-plus snaps on each side of the ball every game.
Mark that shit, Hotz.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think if there's any team that's going to do it, it'd be the Browns and the Jags that will do both.
The GM's weird. I saw that interview, and coach is weird. Wow, these guys are weirdos. So I heard some of the shit from these guys, and they seem to be like AI cyborg idiots. So, you know, like, I don't even. John, go ahead.
No, the GM's like a wonder kid, you know? Like, he's young enough to, like, try this shit, and if it doesn't work, like, he'll still have more chances to be, in the league. Like, he's going to go all out for it, and I think that it could be – I think Travis Hunter – I've, like, flip-flopped on this a little bit, to be honest, but I think he should be a wide receiver. The more I think about it, I think he's a playmaker. He's explosive. And compare him with Brian Thomas now, especially, is the one where it's like, okay, now we got Trevor Lawrence, legit-ass weapons. We find out what we have with Trevor Lawrence for sure now. But I do think there's a world where we've always seen it more like you anchor on defense, like, you know, Dion, Charles Woodson, and they get some snaps on offense. You know, even to an extent, Chris Gamble, Devin Hester, these guys. But I do think there is a world where you can be a primary wide receiver and then – okay, it's a passing down. It's 3rd and long. We throw out Travis Hunter every 3rd and long. We throw out Travis Hunter every, time they come out with 5 wide receivers. We put Travis Hunter in.
I see Zach.
The starting nickel.
10 push-ups. 10 push-ups. I'm going to bet 10 push-ups.
Your bet, Eddie wants to bet 10 push-ups that he has a game where he plays over 10 snaps on both sides.
10 push-ups on the man.
You got it. Yeah, you're on 100%.
It's going to be mid-show. You're going to have a show. I'm going to be a guest, and I'm making the 10 push-ups live. Right?
Perfect. Make it 15. 15 push-ups.
There we go.
I still owe Eddie fucking 20 push-ups. But I'll do that shit.
You know what's so crazy? I'll make you fix the camera and make you do it right now.
Yeah.
That's what we should do. That's what we should do. I want to move 20 right now.
As John's doing that, any last thoughts, Eddie, about the draft? Anything else that caught your eye? We'll count. I got you. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Those are real ones,
10,
too.
11.
Those are not Mickey Mouse.
13, 14.
Those are men push-ups right there.
17, 18, 19. That's 20.
Soldiers would respect you for that.
And 5 extra for the house.
Those are real ones.
5 extra for the house. That's for the house.
Those are real
ones. And I did shoulders today.
Those were Mickey Mouse push-ups, ladies and gentlemen.
Good job, John.
That's how you doing. Actually, Zach, I hope you recorded that. We're going to go back.
This whole thing's recorded. It's on YouTube.
That's right.
Run it back.
My bad. You got the clip. When we go back, that will be just like that.
I can put it on YouTube and then screen record it, and then I can put that in the group chat right now and show everyone that's on YouTube. Right fucking now, yeah.
I'm gonna
just give a little wrap up with the draft. The draft was cool, and I'm happy.
Cool. I thought the draft was pretty sick this year. Yeah.
Giants, the teams that I really pay attention to: Giants, Cowboys. I'm so happy that this year the Eagles didn't kill me.
The Jets are going like this. They don't know what's going on. The Jets.
I do like the Eagles' first round pick. I can't front. Jahad Campbell.
Yeah.
Probably the best linebacker in the draft.
Yeah, for sure. Alabama back. Come on.
Yeah. It's not fair that they're allowed to draft.
Yeah. He's addicted to trading, too. He's like, I just need to make a trade. I'll give you a 5th rounder and move up one spot.
Come on, Hunts. Come on, everybody. Just get in on the trade. Please.
Yeah, he's like, I need a trade.
Like, Howie, we just lost you in the Super Bowl. We fucking hate you. Come on, please, one time.
That's how my boy Chris is. Like, we co-manage a sleeper league. And same way, every day he's texting me like, "Can I make this trade?" I'm like, "Why do you have to make a trade every day?"
I want to move on. Let's but that was good shit, boys.
Real quick, I just want to say, Will Johnson, 2nd round to the Arizona Cardinals. He was like a top 10 pick all year. Didn't want to run the 40 at the combine for some reason, but All-American anchored that, amazing Michigan defensive backfield when they won the national championship. And then again last year, great defensive team. For him to fall all the way to 47th overall, that's a steal, super steal.
Love that. All right. Word. I want to move to the NBA playoffs. Obviously, there's been some great series, a lot of developments in some different series. I'll wait for Eddie to get back. We could start with the game last night. I think OKC is playing right now, and they're going for the sweep, or they were looking at a sweep. Did you see if they cleaned that up and they won that game?
I can figure it out for you real quick. Just go into what you want to talk about.
They ended up completing the sweep. It's over. So the Grizzlies have officially been eliminated. The Thunder swept them 4-0. Looks like it was a close finish. And the Cavaliers won today as well. They won handily without Darius Garland, who's a pawn. And so they're up 3-0. They're going to end up sweeping as well. The Nuggets and the Clippers are playing right now. I'm looking forward to watching that fourth quarter when we clock off here. That's going to be excellent. That's been a great series. We could start there, actually, because I think that's been one of the more competitive series, and then we'll move to the Knicks. Obviously, I think those are the two most competitive series right now. But Nuggets and the Clippers, man, I'm telling you, these Clippers with Kawhi Leonard is just the fucking glue. It does not matter the team. It does not matter the fucking roster. Bro is glue, and it always works because he plays both sides of the ball, and he's the most efficient motherfucker we've ever seen, maybe. Like, the way he plays and shoots the ball, it's crazy. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to think about the Clippers and the Nuggets in terms of it being 2-1 right now with the Clippers. It's a close game right now. Nuggets are winning right now in the third quarter.
Yeah, it's 58-54 right now. I think that this series going into it being a pick'em was crazy to me, that it was like -110. Obviously, the Nuggets doing what they've done the past few years. Obviously, champions 2 years ago. Last year, eventually going down to the Wolves in 7 games, but still playing a great series. And the Clippers going basically from, I don't want to say irrelevancy, but a time with playoff P where they're like kind of a joke, kind of like, what is this team? And now all of a sudden we're looking at a team that's going toe-to-toe and even has a 2-1 lead in a close game right now in game 4. Yep. This Clippers team is kind of making a splash here. Obviously, OKC looks scary. Close game today, but basically dominated the first 2 games and came back from 30 points down in game 3 to win that. But this Western Conference still feels a little bit wide open, as good as OKC is. So whoever wins this series, I think, is a big threat to make a run.
I agree with that for sure.
I'll go.
Go ahead, Eddie.
Yeah, so Denver, they got the best player on the planet. So I think the whole issue with Denver is that I don't understand still to this day. I'm sure you guys probably touched base on this the last couple of weeks, but the whole head coach firing was just it just was the wrong time and the wrong way to go about things. I think again, we're on a different new world, a new generation where entitlement really affects organizations now, and it's unfortunate and whatnot. But we can talk about the Clippers, dude. Kawhi Leonard, when he's in, he's one of the best players in the league. I'm not a fan of the whole load management that's our life that we live in. But at the end of the day, he's here. He's back. I honestly salute to James Harden for just being the guy that likes to point fingers, that doesn't take shit seriously, and or whatever you got to say bad about him. Keep this out the window, man. That guy's a competitor. He's the most talented basketball players in the world. Yeah. And when it's time to shine, he's there. And he's
a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer.
He's available. He's a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Houston, Harden, arguably one of the best of all time.
Shooting guards of all time we've ever seen.
You know what I mean?
MVP,
yeah. So I like to see how this the outcome comes, or what comes of it, I should say. I hope Denver wins just to see a better, longer series between both. But yeah, that's what I got from it. It's just you got a team that's in shambles, and then you got the team that's that's the OGs of the world that people sleep on, and now they hear.
Yep, a lot of veterans. And James Harden has 7 assists tonight, only 6 points. He does the job that's required, I think, on that team too, which is the distributor role. He is one of the best scorers in the game. But I think the main thing with him is he does whatever is required. And he's been playing winning basketball, which is a different thing than what maybe he used to do, which is just playing James Harden basketball. But he is playing winning basketball in this Clippers team right now with the 7 assists and only taking 6 shots. Seems like he's being pretty particular about only 1 of 1 from 3. So it's like, and we're late in the third right now. It's pretty crazy. And there's 3 or 4 other guys that have more points.
I'm just happy that finally, like, the world sees that Paul George is just
Buns.
Like, please stop. Get that name out of your fucking mouth. Like, he, you know what I'm saying? Look at it. He left and look where they're at. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he did nothing for Philly. Want to be on his podcast, worry about winning. You know,
unbelievable.
This whole just thing. Like, he's done. He's done. See you later. That time came and went. But you cannot talk. No one talked like that. Everyone wants to talk bad about James. You can no longer do that. James, there. He's available. He pulls up and he wins. And he's a competitor. He scores. He does whatever you need, like Zach said.
Facts.
I mean, Harden on the Clippers is exponentially better than Paul George on the Clippers, and Harden on the Sixers is exponentially better than Paul George on the Sixers. Like, there's no argument left to be made. We've seen it. We've seen
forever comparing those two. It's over.
There's no debate. There's no debate.
Yeah, but it's crazy to me the fall, because Paul George early in his career, like going toe to toe with LeBron on those Pacers teams, was some of the most exciting playoff basketball in my adult life.
He should have kept that fade low, bro. He moved that fade back. He started getting too clean and got.
I think it all went downhill.
He was greatly built. Like, they had every piece, every great position player. Like, when they weren't the best at every position, but they worked so great, and all of them I think were almost close to a top.
Who is this you're talking about?
At their position.
This is the Pacers with Roy Hibbert, Danny Granger, Paul George,
Lance Stevenson. You know,
Lance Stevenson.
David West was amazing. I loved him.
David West. Yeah, they were. It reminds me of like the Hawks teams with like Millsap and Joe Johnson. Like, just kind of real strong built teams. But at the same time, Paul George was the one. He was the guy stepping up and guarding LeBron and scoring. But I think it all came down when he broke his leg in that fucking scrimmage for Team USA that was televised, and he destroyed his leg. That's the only time I've seen a sporting event, and I know it was a scrimmage, but they were just like, we're done. We're not playing anymore.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
It's over. Yeah. They're like, Mike Krzyzewski came on the court, his fucking self-aggrandizing ass, and was like, yeah, we're going to go ahead here and do the right thing, and then don't make it about you, Mike. Just fucking walk into the locker room, you fucking bug. Fucking hate Krzyzewski. Fucking whatever.
No, Eddie, I want to talk about the Knicks, bro. Talk to me.
Yeah, you got wax poetic about the Knicks.
Let's do this, and then we'll get to the Hotz Corner, and then we'll click off for tonight. But I want to talk about the Knicks quickly before we end this. Eddie, talk to me about how you're feeling, generally speaking, about the main thing I want you to hone in on, not just like the average bullshit take. I want you to give me the take that really is what's going on in this series in terms of just like the Schroeder and the Beasley and these things that you're seeing with your eyes as a baller that you feel like are either going to push us or pull us from winning this series.
I think we're going to win this series. And what I do, well, first and foremost, shout out to the Pistons for being a great team and very well coached team that they are. Cade Cunningham is no scrub. Schroeder is no scrub as a vet. Having the enforcer that you have with the Thomas of the world, is that say what Thomas, right? Big guy? Is it Isaiah? What's
Jaron Duran?
There's Duran.
Duran. What's the guy that didn't play yesterday?
Stewart, maybe? Isaiah Stewart.
Yeah, Isaiah Stewart, right. So just having these pieces that they're gonna be good for a while. They're gonna be good for they're going to be a pain in the ass, actually, in the East for the next handful of years.
Duran is very impressive.
Very impressive.
He has to hone in his other skills, but as a raw player and just a mind who you can see that he understands, he's a very talented player.
I think he's a good defender, too.
To get to the Knicks, I think they needed to deal with a team like this in the first round and surpass them to, see, yo, guys, this is what's going to take to win. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. We're not just because we got talent, is just going to just flush by people. Dude, it's managing. It's learning your team. I don't know how many times I feel like I'm in conversations with people and they're like, we just got together. They're figuring it out. It's a playoff. They've been together for a whole year.
Yeah, facts.
Game 1 or 2, Cat having 3 shots in the second half was like unacceptable. Like, you know, like Brunson not getting him the ball, it's just the team not getting him the ball is unacceptable. But with that being said, I still love the squad that we have. I love the heart that we have. Yes, it's not the same as last year. But we can't compare and contrast. This is the problem with Knicks fans. They try to get mad and talk about last year when this offseason was out of our hands.
Iheart was out
of our hands.
Hartenstein was out of our hands, but
if Iheart doesn't leave, nothing changes. Nothing changes.
I think they still trade for
Iheart and we run it back.
I think they still trade for Towns and Hartenstein.
No way.
100%.
Well, no way. I think last year, at the end of the day, what happened is you lost in the second round. So to romanticize that outcome of like this amazing season,
failure. I see what you're saying.
I get that. Obviously the Knicks have struggled for a long time now, but like I feel like last year was so romanticized by Knicks fans when like it really should have been looked at as a failure. Like they should not have lost to the Pacers in the second round.
The thing is that they were banged up though.
That's not fair because we were not healthy.
They weren't healthy.
We're playing with 5 guys.
The one thing is, that's why when people say run it back, because Randall wasn't playing. Mitchell wasn't
playing.
Yeah, Mitchell wasn't
Mitchell
playing.
got hurt with Philly.
These are high impact players, so it was a lot of minutes being ran by Hart and by Hart.
Dante DiVincenzo, a bunch of 6 men running it.
I think there's a point to be made that if they ran it back, the team would have been much better healthy and really, really good too. My problem with this team, here's what I'll say. This team's going to agree with the series. I think it's close, though. I think they really could fuck around and lose this shit. I'm not playing with you. It's also because of the way they play at the end of games. The final 5 minutes of the game, they are fucking painful, man. Every time they have a lead, they give it up and they take their foot off the pedal, and Jalen always goes back into this ISO, I got to find it, otherwise it's not going to be found mode. And it's like a tick. And he finally gave up the ball at the end of the game last game when he got trapped there to Towns, and Towns got fouled, hit the 2 free throws, and that essentially iced the game, put it at 4. But almost like in plays past, he was going to force that shot. He forced a 3 late that was ill-advised, I remember. With 46 seconds left, Brunson hit the front of the rim on that. It's just, that game they were winning by 10. It felt like they were winning by 100 for a while in that game. And it was like a 2-point game to end the game. That's my problem with this team. That's the first thing I'll say. That was the first time all those guys played together. We have to shout the stat. First time in the Knicks since 50 years, since 1970-something, that 4 guys on their team in the playoffs had over 20 points. That's fucking awesome. I can't remember as a Knicks fan that even having that parity on our fucking team. It's usually just like a Melo or whoever it is, and everyone else is kind of just getting 10 or 15. So that was great to see, and it was good to see Mikal play well. But we have this other thing about our team that is pissing me off about this softness. So it's Tibbs coaching at the end of games combined with this softness that exists, and Mikal missing that dunk and getting blocked there. The kid is just soft as tissue paper. He is a pillow, and he would be great off the bench, and I think he's like a good spurt player. He fades more than he really wants the contact. He's just the opposite of Josh Hart as a person and a player, and the team has a weird identity problem, I feel like. I really believe this. And it's like they're trying to be a tough team. I think Towns is leaning into it and he's trying his best. And I love that. He got some block shots last game. I see him getting in there, pushing the guy after the play. But it just, the grittiness that I feel like Randall naturally had, Hartenstein naturally has, and that team, Dante naturally has, I don't know. I just feel like last year's roster, if they ran it back, it probably would have felt different. But I am optimistic about this team if they can consistently disperse the scoring like they did and use that offense the way they can, because they were up by 10 most of that game. So if they continue to do that, I like that. But it's just a weird identity.
2 things to take out of what you just said.
Yeah.
Talked about the last quarter. That game is the first time this happened in the series. We've been slacking in the 3rd quarter and coming back in the 4th. So you talking about us blowing it, being soft at the end, happened once this series. That's one. We've been coming back, being soft, yes, in the 3rd or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But we've been clutch points wise, and
we lost game 2.
That's our identity. We bust ass in the 4th. That's one. 2. The identity problem
The softness, the feeling.
With the softness. Yo, dude, I think, you know what the problem is? The expectation problem. That's what it is. Having the Mikal Bridges of the world and giving him all those picks and whatever, it's the expectation. He is what he is, dude. Like, he was his whole season.
What is he? What is he?
He's honestly, to me, a mid offensive player and a above average defender. He's an excellent ball player.
And he's available. Because he's always
available. He's not going to make no Hall of Fame, none of that. But you can't tell me the last couple of years what's been better than that. You're not going to tell me Dante DiVincenzo is better than that. You just can't. You can't.
No, I have to weigh in here as an objective, not a Knicks fan. The antithesis of what Zach is saying, not to shit on you, is true. Eddie's right that like this Knicks team, not just this series, this whole season has been a start slow and then push in the fourth quarter and come back. Where that last game is, the exception that proves the rule, if you will, where they got out to a hot start and then almost blew the lead late. That's really not what they do. They're a hang-around team and then beat you at the end. That's what we've seen. And even in that game that they lost, they were down 13 in the fourth quarter and only ended up losing by, 2-4, whatever it ended up being. They made it a tie game.
How much?
They made it a tie game. They were 22-0 run in game one. In game two, they ended up tying the game at 98-98 when they were down, 13 in the fourth quarter. So it is like a weird thing where, obviously they need to play better. And in terms of the toughness comment, in today's NBA, you can't have two Josh Harts. You need the skill, the speed, the athleticism, the scoring, the shooting. You can't have like multiple guys be that tough guy on your team, hustle guy on your team. You can only have one. And if Josh Hart needs to throw some elbows and add to his responsibility as the hustle guy, like that, you can't ask Mikal to change who he is. Like you need.
No, I just want one identity of like what we're exerting onto the opponent, and sometimes it feels like. I'm not saying he has to be Josh Hart, and I want everyone to be Josh Hart. I agree with you that there's an enforcer usually on a team. There's a skill position player. That's been on every team. Dennis Rodman was the enforcer on the Bulls.
But my point is even like teams, let's say the Pistons, like that. Those teams don't exist anymore. Where it's like Prince plays great defense. Ben Wallace is the tough guy. Rasheed Wallace is out there getting texts. Like that's not the game anymore. It's like you have one guy, the Draymond Green for the Warriors. We're saying modern NBA. The Tristan Thompson of the Cavs.
Isaiah Stewart.
Yeah, Isaiah Stewart.
Detroit. Right.
You can't have multiple guys being these tough guy enforcers, and the scores of the games are 85, 81. That doesn't happen anymore.
We don't have that though.
He has to have something more than what I'm seeing, though. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not saying he has to be Josh Hart.
I think Josh Hart needs to fucking put on 10 pounds of muscle and fucking be a fighter as well as a hustler.
If he's going to do this role, he needs to get in the gym. Yes.
Yeah.
He hasn't, honestly, and I love Josh and everyone.
I love Josh.
New York.
I don't think there's anybody who doesn't love Josh.
He has to score more. Not love Josh.
He has to score more.
Last year, he went like above and beyond. Like his highlight of his career, I think, is going to be last year's just playoff run.
Wild.
And end the year run. Like
he had a game with like 19 rebounds. He had a game with like 15 to 20 rebounds.
Four straight games of 48 minutes.
All over the place.
Stuff, like crazy stuff.
Like recently, turnovers at the end of the game, a lot of
missing layups, missing bunnies.
Like he's been doing that. And I think we do kind of have we have a good problem, essentially. It's not right now because of the playoffs. We have a lot of talent, a lot of dogs that could offensively score. We just kind of got to figure it out to like balance our squad. I think more depth would help. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think
a little bit more bench.
Two guys or three guys on the bench.
I'm not a Deuce McBride guy. I think we're off that.
I'll tell you right now. I know you guys like Tibbs. People in New York are Tibbs defenders a lot.
Take them, John. Go.
He does not develop the bench. No. You have to give these bench guys time during the year so that when it comes playoff time, they're not in over their fucking heads.
Right.
And Nick, I don't know. I'm not going to
You're right.
put my hat on the stance. But there was a point in the season, maybe around the midway point. I didn't follow through with the stat at the end of the year, but in the minutes per game category, they had 6 guys in the top 10 or 5 guys in the top 10 minutes per game on their team. It's too much. You need to get, and it's not even so much like, because I've stood on the take that you're going to get guys hurt playing them too much. Fuck that. I'll even back off of that take. I'll say that. You need to develop the other guys and get them minutes. Like, we talked about it, like it's a microcosm of, like, we talked about guys like averaging triple doubles and not being good for other guys, not touching the ball, like we used to say with Westbrook. Like, this is that, like, as a coach, like you not getting guys touches and minutes and time and shots and defensive stops. Like, these guys aren't going to develop on the bench for the Knicks. They don't have a chance to. And I think that Tibbs rotationally is an underwhelming coach. He's a great defensive coach. He's a great hard-nosed coach. He's motivational. He gets a lot out of his guys, but he has his guys that he leans on so hard that it's a detriment to the other guys. And
he doesn't make the necessary, like, you know, the adjustments you see, like in like these coaches like the Malones of the world or whatever. The only thing you'll see, the only adjustment you'll ever see is that at the half, if Macau's getting cooked, okay, we're switching to OG Macau.
Yeah.
And that's the only adjustment that would ever happen.
Defensively, he's brilliant. He was as big of a threat as Doc Rivers to that Celtics championship with Posey and Tony Allen, switching up their matchups. But rotationally, getting guys minutes, taking minutes away from other guys, finding that perfect fluidity of a team. He doesn't have that, in my opinion.
It's a great
thing go after Mike Malone if the Knicks fail.
I agree. Yeah, I think Mike Malone is somebody that has shown that he has that feel by finding guys like Bruce Brown within the playoff run and things like that, and going with guys during that playoff run that were hot. Even Braun as a rookie.
Christian Brown. Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Just like finding like secret minutes for these guys in the playoffs, and you just know when to use your special weapons, and it's just like you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh or some dumb shit, throwing your cards when you're supposed to throw them type shit.
Can't relate.
Yeah, anyway, whatever, like, or Pokemon, whatever the fuck, but whatever you want to pick. But like in general, like I think the Knicks,
I'd say poker, yeah.
But yeah, I think the Tibbs is an issue. I agree with John. His take was perfect. I think he just doesn't have a good feel about the roster within the game. I think that's a great take. And
I mean, in hindsight, we say that we could be hard on Tibbs, but
he's gotten us to this point, and as we said, he's
to happen to us in a while,
in a long time, and he fixed the culture. He fixed this culture. He fixed our culture. We're a winning culture now. Straight up and down.
In the news for something bad. None of that.
We're a winning culture.
I used to have a really good friend, and not to even go off topic, but still about Tibbs. I really had a close friend. He was an older man. He was like in his 50s, and I used to work with him like 10 years ago. He passed away. He was a diehard Bulls fan. And he used to be like, Eddie, like, he just runs our guys to the ground. And this is when it was Derrick Rose, Jimmy Butler, Taj
Gibson,
Joakim Noah. Like, those guys would just run to the ground. They were good. They were there every year. But they were run to the ground. And it's the same story.
Yep.
But guess what? He changed our culture. I appreciate him. I hope he makes his adjustments. He better get past his first round, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of good coaches out there. We have a lot of good players already now. And you set us up, so beware, because we couldn't move.
You lose to the Pistons, beware.
I'll end on Tibbs with this. Motivationally and, culture, great. Defensively, great. Rotationally, leaves to be desired. Offensively, in terms of running sets and plays, leaves to be desired. Maybe that means he needs to hire a whiz kid assistant who could help him with those things and delegate and be more of a, CEO type head coach, and but like take the defense head on, whatever. But he does have holes in his coaching that become more glaring in the playoffs versus the regular season.
In the playoffs, they shine. The flaws shine.
The whole shine. But yeah, we can get into the Hotz corner if you're ready, Zach. I know you got something.
It'll be a quick one. We'll do a quick one since we're at 118 right now.
This is a great episode. Thank you, Eddie, for coming on. What a blessing.
Super dope. And the Hotz corner is for both of you guys. The questions are going to be great for both of you. So I'll ask them to you simultaneously. You both can give their opinionated questions. So it's perfect. You ready? Here we go.
Yep.
Since Will McClay has been a Cowboy, name the best and worst picks the Cowboys have taken. Like one of each.
Say it again.
Since Will McClay has been a Cowboy or part of the process, name the best and the worst picks the Cowboys have taken.
I don't know exactly when he got taken, but I'll say Zach Martin's the best pick. Taco Charlton's the worst pick.
I think. Oh wow, Taco. Damn, you could have said Zach Martin would have killed me.
You can repeat his answer for the record.
Yeah, I mean, if you agree. Sorry.
I agree with the opinion. I agree with the
of
opinion.
all time, honestly.
Yeah, Zach Martin was the best pick, and Taco Charlton was the worst. But I don't know if Will McClay was there for Zach Martin, to be completely honest, but I think so. If not, Zach Martin.
A random player that was drafted.
If Zach Martin was drafted after or before Will McClay was there, then I'll say Tyler Smith, because Tyler Smith, I think, is going to be.
No, I think because honestly, I was going to say the Mozzie kid, only because he was a first round pick and a DT. But when you say Taco,
yeah, Taco was the first round DT. Michigan, and he's first.
That was
Jalen Smith. Nah.
Huh?
Jalen Smith.
No, Jalen Smith had some good years, and Mozzie Smith still has already outperformed Taco Charlton.
All right, let's keep going. Wait. Let's keep going. All right, that was good. Would you rather have a library full of books, a closet full of vinyls, or a basement full of sneakers?
Closet full of.
Yeah. Would you rather have a library full of books, a closet full of vinyls, or a basement full of sneakers?
I mean, it's tough because the sneakers could be very valuable, I guess. But I personally, I'd rather have a wall-to-wall bookshelf library. It would be really nice to have.
That's the smartest thing to say.
Yeah.
Are you agreeing, Eddie? You're saying the same thing?
I would say that
I mean, first off, who keeps vinyls in the closet?
I'm gonna tell you right now.
They couldn't think of what this. I was gonna say shelving. I didn't know how to get to it.
I have this closet behind me that has a lock on it. You can't even see. It has a lock. It doesn't have a door handle, and it has 40 pictures of mine in there in a box. I don't have no library full of books, but I do read, and I do have my collection of books that I keep. So
yeah.
So ideally, if you want to say that, the smartest.
Wait, hold it. You'll get the explanation after. All right. Jalen Brunson or Dame Lillard?
Right now or career?
I just said Jalen Brunson or Dame Lillard?
Right now, Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson. Right now.
Yeah, you can take the question however you want. What is the one food you would never order when you're out?
There's a lot. I mean, I don't like onions, so anything with onions. But yeah. I like the flavor of onions if you cook with it, but biting it
I might actually take the time to clip that actually. Right there.
I like raw onions on everything.
A raw onion on a burger ruins it. Biting into a burger with a raw onion on it, that is disgusting. The texture of it, gross.
Oh. I would say
if you're sitting in a restaurant and you're looking at a menu, what's something you would look at and be like, "There's no way."
I wouldn't order spaghetti and meatballs at a restaurant.
Yo, what is wrong with you?
I would just make it at my fucking house. It's so simple.
No, it's opinion. This is hot. This is the hot.
You're right. It's hot.
Crazy amount of talking.
I guess I would say some fishy thing. I guess it'd be salmon.
All right, so I think you're a fucking baby. Salmon's fucking delicious. Fucking, I love salmon at a restaurant.
No matter what you were gonna say, Eddie, he was gonna react that way.
No. If he said a bacon cheeseburger, I would fucking love that.
I guarantee there's 10 things better on the menu than salmon.
All right, moving along. So that's the end of
Definitely
the question.
not fucking onions or spaghetti and meatballs. Not better than salmon teriyaki.
Let's move to the quiz. All right,
a Chipotle burger with extra onions is better than fucking salmon.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Chipotle burger's fine.
Extra onions makes you throw up in my mouth.
All right. So this article was written. Just want to make sure this is up to date. I don't know. I think it is. I don't know. It says here the Cowboys now have 20 Hall of Fame members.
Okay.
That's the article that I'm reading here. It's on the Cowboys website. I want you guys to name all 20. That's your quiz.
And this is anyone who's ever played for the Cowboys, or do they have to go in as a Cowboy?
Go in as a Cowboy.
And it's coaches and players.
Yeah, I'll just say I'm looking through the list right now.
All right,
Yes.
Eddie, you go, and then I'll go.
Yes,
Yeah,
including
you guys
we'll
have-
try to get all
yes,
20.
I have a piece of
yes,
paper.
includes
It's on my
everything.
phone.
Coaches, yes. Coaches,
All right.
yes.
You go one, and then I'll go one, and then we'll go, like see if we can get all 20.
Oh, I love that. Okay. DeMarcus Ware.
Yeah,
All right, I'll go chalk. I'll go Emmitt Smith.
yeah,
Troy Aikman.
yeah,
Michael Irvin.
yeah,
Larry Allen.
yeah,
Bob Lilly.
yeah. First one ever, Mr. Cowboy. Or you know.
Drew Pearson.
I believe yes. I saw his.
He
name.
just got in. He's in.
Just got in. He's in.
I'll do the hard ones to try to save Eddie. Rayfield Wright.
That's correct.
What'd you say?
Rayfield Wright.
Only a name Hotz would know. Doesn't know. No one knows who he is. So
He's a Packer from like the 70s with Roger Staubach.
on like his 10th ballot or whatever the fuck.
Roger Staubach.
Correct. Yes.
I didn't even mean to do that. Sorry. I'll go Bob Hayes.
Correct. Inducted in 2009. Legend. Nickname Bullet.
Was an Olympic sprinter before he went to the Cowboys.
Jimmy Johnson.
Correct.
All right. I'll go Tom Landry.
Correct.
12 for 12. Let's go, Saint. If you need help, I could give you a hint.
Randy White.
Let's go.
That's one?
I'm just looking to make sure that he came in as a Cowboy.
Yeah, Randy White for sure is a Cowboy.
Correct.
The Manster. All right. Did I say Mel Renfro yet?
No, you did not.
Mel Renfro.
I got three
Correct.
more in my head.
1996. Yes, that's correct. There's ads on this fucking page. That's why there's a delay, so I'm really apologetic.
All
Randy
right.
White went in 94. There you go.
All right. Mel Renfro. We're at 14, Ed.
There's,
Jerry Jones.
Correct.
Deion Sanders.
Correct.
Wow, how the fuck did
There's one name here that
Tia.
I didn't
Come on.
Terrell Owens got it to the Hall of Fame.
I didn't see his name as a Cowboy though. Hold on.
Well, that's what he asked. If it was like anyone who played.
No, that's what I said before. It's went in as a Cowboy.
Oh, it is went in as a Cowboy.
Okay.
And I said that in the beginning.
So he went in as a what? San Fran?
I don't know. But I don't see him here on this
I
list.
think I got one more.
Should we let Eddie go again, or should I go?
I mean, this
Sure.
fucked
Go
up.
ahead, Eddie.
Bill Parcells.
Not as a Cowboy, my friend. He won Super Bowls with the Giants.
Good. I'm down.
All right. Tony Dorsett.
That's correct.
That's correct.
All right.
There's a really tough one on here, John. I'd be surprised if you get this one. If you get this one, I don't even know.
How many we
I
got?
mean, there's 3 more left. We got 17 right now.
Yeah.
You good, Eddie, or you want me to go?
I need your help.
I'm thinking if Darren Woodson got in the
Let me
last
just
couple
review.
of
I'm going to
years.
do a little review here because it's easy for me. It helps me. So let me do a
Okay.
review here. Bob Lilly, you've said. Roger Staubach, you've said. Tom Landry, you've said. This person you have not said. Inducted in 1991. Tony Dorsett, you said. Randy White, you said. Fucking ads. Mel Renfro, you said. Troy Aikman, you said. Rayfield Wright, you said. Michael Irvin, you said. Bob Hayes, you said. Emmitt Smith, you said. Dion, you said. Another ad. Fuck you. Larry Allen. This guy you have not said. Inducted in 2015.
Oh, how did we not?
Jerry Jones, you said. This person you have not said. Inducted in 2019. Jimmy Johnson, you said. Drew Pearson, you said. Oh, excuse me. You said this other one. Fuck. This person you actually didn't say, and he was inducted in 2021.
Who we say?
The other one that you did say was Gil Brandt.
No, we didn't say Gil Brandt. You
I
gave
never
us
said
one.
Oh, well, I just gave you one then.
Yeah. All right. So there's two left.
Two left.
I want to say the original owner Tex Scram.
I don't think that's what his name was. The guy that was.
Tex Scram. All right. it's tough because the guys who went in as Cowboys. Because even when we said Deion Sanders, I wasn't sure he went in as a Cowboy.
Yeah, Tex Schramm is right. That was the name of the guy for that induction.
Tex Schramm, you were doubting me, bro. What the fuck?
No. I was checking. I said wait because this list.
Like, I don't think.
Page. I'm saying.
You're like I don't think. You're like I don't think. So Tex Schramm is right. We're at 19 of 20 right now.
So correct. So you said Darren Woodson. Darren Woodson's not in. That's not a Cowboy.
Yeah, I said. Darren Woodson, I know is close.
He's not a Cowboy. I think he's as a Raven because he won the Super Bowl.
Darren Woodson as a Raven? That makes no sense, dude.
No shot.
He didn't even play for the Ravens.
Darren Woodson?
Yeah. You're thinking of Rod Woodson.
Oh, I am thinking Rod Woodson. You're right.
Check Darren Woodson for us right
now. Darren Woodson might not be in the Hall of Fame, but
he's not on this list, though.
Oh.
He might not be in the Hall of Fame. I know you got close. All right. One more guy.
Yeah, he might not be in the Hall of Fame.
All right, one more guy. Let me think real quick.
I got the name. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if this guy got in. Oh my god.
Damn it.
I don't know. We're 19 of 20 right now. Gil Brandt, Tex Schramm, and
all right, so the more you know, Darren Woodson has been a finalist as a former safety of the Cowboys to go in as a Cowboy the last 3 years, but has not made it.
All right, fair enough.
He'll get in.
All right. I'm already very impressed with our performance here.
Yeah, you guys unbelievable. Way, yes.
Is he a player or a coach or is it just give me a player, coach, or personality?
I could read his blurb to you. You won't know shit about what I even say here. It'll be good. Arriving in Dallas in 1970 as an undrafted free agent.
I didn't want to hear that.
From tiny Ouachita Baptist in Arkansas, blank went on to crack the starting lineup as a rookie before missing time for military service. He went to 4 straight all NFL teams.
Are these the guys?
Super Bowl.
It's a white safety. Bill Bates?
That is indeed correct.
Is it Bill Bates?
It is not Bill Bates. You have one more guess.
All right. So white. It's not Chuck Howley.
I can give you his nickname if you want. I don't believe it'll give it away because this is really absurd.
I will. How the hell don't we know who got
his name? His nickname, and you're right, he was a safety. His nickname is Captain Crash. That's his nickname.
I'm not getting that. That's too old.
No, I know who it is. I have it. Let me think for like 25 seconds.
29 interceptions and 16 fumble recoveries, tied for second in team history.
It's a white safety. It's not Bill Bates. It's the other one. Charlie, Chuck. I keep confusing Chuck Howley. It's not Chuck Howley. Chuck Howley's the only Super Bowl MVP that was on a losing team. In Super Bowl
it is
5.
Something blend. That's the best. That's the best clue I can give you. If you know English.
What'd you say?
I said it is a C something blend, but it's not char.
C.
C though, you are seeing a C, and you are on that. That is right.
I have his face in my head, dude. I'm so mad right now. This is embarrassing. I mean, not embarrassing because we got 19 to 20. I pulled Mel Renfro and Rayfield Wright and Tex Schramm out of my head.
Those
Tex Schramm is
crazy.
Tex Schramm
it's gonna when you say it, it's gonna fucking decimate me because I know who it is. It's number like 22.
The 1970s All-Decade team.
Oh my God, he's a safety. He's a white safety. Oh my God. This is my dad's looking down, screaming the answer. Oh my God.
Wow, John.
It's not Charlie. Ken.
Matinee tomorrow.
Is it Ken? Give me the first name and I'll get the last name. Fuck it. Cliff Harris.
See, John's tight.
Cliff Harris.
John's tight. That's his name.
Cliff Harris. I had that one in my bag.
Inducted in 2021. It's also recent history too when he was inducted.
Well, I knew that. That's what I thought. I was thinking Bill Bates. Like they're like the same player, but he's a little better. Cliff Harris. Yeah.
Very nice job, guys. You really killed that. That was unbelievable.
Damn it.
Between the two of you, was pretty fucking good. Right there.
19 to 20 is pretty good. I would have found Gil Brandt. I would have had Gil Brandt in my bag eventually.
The last thing that I had here was
Ditka was obviously better than.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking too. I was almost said Ditka because I was like a little confused on it, but yeah, like Ditka, T.O., like There's other guys.
Even Dion. When I saw Dion's name, I was like, "There's no way he's getting this." I was like, "Nope, no, he's not getting this. No one's gonna say his name."
I said it. I remember him.
Said him. It just out of nowhere. I was like, "Oh."
Well, Dion played for so many teams: the Ravens, the Commanders, the Falcons, the 49ers. He won with the 49ers. The Super Bowl stuff.
Very good.
The last thing that I had is the other one that I had was the worst QBs drafted in the first round, a top 10 list, like for all of us to make. Like that was like the last thing that I queued. And instead of doing a quiz, so we could just go around the horn quickly and then we'll call it a show. But I'll kick it off. The first one that I got, first round quarterback, bust. We'll start it off with a little.
First round or top 10 or top 5? What are we talking?
No. We're making a top 10 list of the first round, anywhere 1 through 32, a bust quarterback.
Okay.
History. So the first guy I'll go with is Ryan Leaf. We'll kick it off real nice with a nice little Ryan Leaf.
Jamarcus.
Yeah, Jamarcus Russell. I'll go Achilles Smith.
Wow.
What?
Zach.
That's what I'm saying. He was picked second overall to the Bengals, and you say what?
Zach Wilson. I don't know what you said.
Jones.
Yeah, I don't know what John just said. I never heard of this person. Doesn't even sound like a play.
Daniel Jones.
Sounds like an injury. Come on. Johnny Manziel has not been said. Tim Tebow. Oh, he wasn't a first round pick.
He was first round, but later.
See? Look, what the fuck?
Yeah. Ty Detmer.
We'll say Johnny.
Manziel, right? They called him, he traded up for him.
He was a first round. He was like 20th or something like that. Let me think of a good one. I'm going deep cuts. Achilles Smith, Ty Detmer.
We got like 7 right now. We need a couple more.
Give me Byron Leftwich, 7th overall.
That's not a bust.
That's not a bust? He had a He had a worse career than Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's why Eddie was saying Daniel Jones is not a bust. He won a playoff.
He made him his best. Byron Leftwich is a bust. 7th overall.
EJ Manuel. How's that one? EJ Manuel.
EJ Manuel's good.
Oh, I got one. Trey Lance.
Yeah, Trey Lance is a good one.
See, now this is what I mean. We can't say Daniel Jones and Byron Leftwich.
Nah, they can't sit at the same table with Daniel
Jones. Trey Lance and Johnny Manziel.
Yeah. What about
where are we?
We're at 9.
All right, good.
Yeah, there's definitely some bad ones from back in the day that we don't know.
This would be a fun exercise. If you think about it, it's fucking unbelievable.
Like Danny Warfel. Chris Wanke.
Oh my God. What a
Chris
name.
Wanke from Florida State.
You know that.
Chris Wanke.
He's like a good quarterback coach now, Chris Wanke.
Yeah, he is. All right. Well, we can
what
wrap
about
up.
Joey Harrington, Matt Leinart?
Joey Harrington, Dan Orlovsky.
I don't think did Dan Orlovsky first round pick.
I just wanted to shout him out because he's a shitty quarterback. But anyway, this is a great show, Eddie. You're the fucking man for coming on. Row 26.
Yeah, appreciate you. That was fun.
That was mad fun. Thank God for the Giants drafting well. Knicks are on tomorrow, matinee at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. on my time. I'll be sipping my coffee watching that game. But go Knicks. Try to get some separation.
Yeah, got the Knicks in a series parlay, so they better fucking win.
They need to get up 3-1. If this gets to 2-2, anyway.
Invite me next time. I'll talk about the Yankees and Mets. All right, Hotz?
Hey, all right. Fucking better than fucking D-Lo posting pictures of Mets fans crying when they have the best record in the majors.
D-Lo couldn't name 2 players on either team combined. But that's the show, yo. Row 26, we out of here.
Yeah.
Peace.